Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Sparta Township Council Reorganization Meeting. My name is Tom Ryan. I'm the municipal attorney, and this is my one moment in the spotlight. Every year, I get to run the meeting until the selection of a new mayor, at which time I promptly toss it on over into the lap of our new mayor. But a few procedural items I will attend to, and then we'll proceed to the nomination of mayor. First, Roxanne, if we could do a roll call.
Councilman Blumetti.
Here.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Here.
Councilman Clark.
Here.
Councilwoman Quinn. Here. Councilman Chiarello.
I am here.
Thank you. Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the public and the press on December 29 of 2023 in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. The meeting was called to order at 6 p.m. I would also note that all council meetings are now live streamed and can be viewed at the following link, which is youtube.com/Sparta Township /streams. Please join us in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we'll now move on to the reorganization of the Sparta Township Council. The first order of business is to entertain nominations for mayor, and that selection will be by the vote of the council. So, are there any nominations for the position of mayor?
Yes. I'd like to nominate Councilman Neil Clark for mayor. And I will second that nomination.
Okay, thank you. And are there any other nominations for the office of mayor? Being no other nominations, we'll call for a roll call vote. Roxanne?
Councilman Blumetti.
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg.
No.
Councilman Clark.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
No.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Okay, with that, the motion carries, and Mr. Clark, congratulations, Mayor Clark. And with that, I will turn the remaining tasks of reorganization over to the mayor. Are we going to swear the mayor in first?
Yeah, if we could, I'd have my wife do it.
Okay.
Please place your left hand on the Bible. Repeat after me. I, Neil Clark,
I, Neil Clark,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and under the state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
and I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
perform all the duties of office of mayor
perform all the duties of office of mayor
according to my best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Oh, okay.
You can take the middle chair. You'll get your stuff out, am I right?
And with that, the term of my tenure as chair of the meeting is over. So Mayor, I hand it to you.
Okay.
And actually, before we get started, there's another ceremonial handing off of a book that started, I guess, with our township clerk. I'm going to pass you over the official mayor's copy of Robert's Rules of Order. So good luck to you.
Some more reading material.
We're reading
Great.
material.
Thank you, everyone. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you first to all the voters who, but for them, I would not be here. And I hope to do and to earn their trust as I did a year ago. I also want to thank my family, who most of them are sitting up there. Thank you. They're the ones that have to put up with me coming home late at night. Alexander has to put up with me having bad nights of sleep often. So thank you for that. I also want to thank my fellow council members for your support and your guidance. And also thank you for even the folks that may not have voted for me. Look, we will work together. We have the people's business to do, and I hope to do the best we can to serve the people of Sparta. And one other thing, if you will indulge me, I apologize. I will not make a habit of this, but you hired a lawyer who likes to hear himself speak, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to thank someone who is probably the reason why I'm here. And I'll try not to choke up when I do it, but there's something I say to people when they've lost a loved one or a family member. And what I say to them often is the tribute that the living owe the dead is to find the good in that person and then emulate it in your own life. Because in that way, if you do that, you then carry on that good qualities of that person. And in that way, they've actually never passed because their qualities live on. And so the person that, I pay tribute to tonight is my grandfather. He was a council member for 35 years in Hickory, North Carolina. And I spent my summers with my grandfather because I was raised by my dad when my mom left when I was 11. And so I got to see what it was firsthand to do the people's business. And that included not just going to meetings, but he would take walks every day. And while he walked, he had a little notebook, and he would scribble down things that he saw in the town that needed fixing. And that could be as small as a crack in the sidewalk or as big as a plot of land that probably could be developed. And so it's with that we carry on his tradition, and I pay tribute to him, and I thank him for the example that he set. So with that, I'll shut up and let's get on to work. I'm excited about it. I hope everyone else is. And so let's get on with what we need to do. Today is a lot of nominations and filling seats. We have a lot of committees here. We have a lot of people who volunteer their time free of charge. We have a lot of outstanding public citizens here who contribute, and I'm thankful for their service. And so a lot of what we do tonight, just so you know, is filling those seats. And so that's what we'll be doing tonight. And then after tonight, we'll be, again, conducting the regular business of Sparta Township. So with that, what is up next, the nomination of deputy mayor. And so do we have a nomination for deputy mayor?
Yes, we do. I would like to nominate Councilman Dean Blumetti as deputy mayor.
Do I have a second for nomination of deputy mayor? Not, I will second the nomination of Dean Blumetti for deputy mayor.
I'm going to pause for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Let me pause for a few minutes.
Okay.
A lot of illness going on around here. You notice it? Sick people. Like Wallace was out. Dory was out. Apartment is right there. It's on the bottom or something. Hey, smart folks that take advantage of. Go. We don't have an assistant, do we? In there, all right. He's getting training. Yeah,
To wait for Councilwoman Quinn. So if you have phone calls to make or whatever you want to do, I'll probably go say hi to my friends in the audience. Dean Blumetti.
Okay, I just started it.
Okay,
Okay, do it again.
do it again?
No, it's.
For the cameras, go
I
ahead.
mentioned it again.
Oh, okay, got you.
I guess you asked for another, need to ask for any other nominations too.
Are there any other nominations for deputy mayor? Okay, hearing none, may we have a roll call vote?
Councilman Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
No.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn. No. Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
The motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Blumetti.
Okay.
We'll see how that lines up.
Hey, come on in.
Place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand and repeat after me.
I, Dean Blumetti,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the government established in the United States
and to the government established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in the state under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully, impartially, and justly
that I will faithfully, partially, and justly
perform all the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor
perform all the duties of the office of Deputy Mayor
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
according to the best of my ability. Congratulations. I get the picture. I can see.
Okay, so we're now moving to the council appointments that I alluded to earlier. We have a lot of different committees that require reappointment, or where there's a vacancy, we appoint new people. And we are going to start off with the Cultural Affairs Subcommittee, which is a one-year term. And I'm asking for a motion to reappoint all members of the Cultural Affairs Subcommittee who are members as of 12/31/23 at their discretion.
So moved?
Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Okay, may we have a roll call vote?
Councilman Blumetti, I apologize, Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Motion carries. All those have been reappointed. We now move to the Environmental Commission. And we have, I asked for a motion to reappoint.
Actually, Mayor, these are mayoral appointments, so you don't need any, there's.
What's that?
These are mayoral appointments, so the
Okay.
council does not have an input on this.
Okay. Okay, so we just need to, there's two people, or three people that need to be reappointed. They are Neil Sauerwein, Vice Chair Ted Gall, and there is a student liaison. Do we have someone for student liaison?
We do have someone, we did have one application that has come in. However, I think that we should, according to the device of our counsel, legal counsel, probably make an adjustment to our ordinance for that position, because the term of that position is a calendar year, whereas if this is a student liaison, which is a largely ceremonial position, that it probably should be aligned with the school year, so that the students will line up according to their time in their school. So according to our legal counsel, that would be a small change, an ordinance change that we might be able to introduce even in the next meeting. So I would recommend holding off, I mean, it's your appointment, but I would recommend holding off on the appointment of any student liaison until we get those appointment years, the term years lined up.
Okay, and so we will hold off on the appointment for the student liaison. And am I right that we do have two appointments that I need to make? One is an appointment to the Environmental Commission, and that would be Mr. Rob Otto. Mr. Otto has been heavily involved in a lot of different areas in the township, particularly environmental issues, and has expressed an interest. The second is Landon Tanieri. We're appointing as alternate 2, and he's been involved in the Environmental Commission as alternate 1. Am I right? Not yet. Okay.
So actually, currently, I believe Christine Rogers and Linda Tower have been elevated from their alternate positions to fill the vacancies of Robert Poles, and I believe there was another one. It might have been,
No, actually, the two, Christine Rogers, Linda Tower, were moved up to regular members. We expanded the Environmental Commission
oh, that's right,
by
when we
2
expanded
members.
it by 2 members.
Yes,
That's
and
right.
then we added another person recently to fill Mr. Pohl's spot.
That's true, I forgot about that.
We have 2 alternate openings.
Okay. And so we have 2 alternate openings.
Barbara took Robert Poles, yes.
Okay. And so that the alternate openings will be Rob Otto, and the next will be Landon Tanieri as alternate 2. Okay. And again, we don't have a vote on that. That's a mayoral appointment. I'm just letting the public know that's who's going to be on here. We next move to
Well,
another.
actually, before we move, I think
Yeah.
we need and we didn't do this for cultural affairs, we need to identify a council liaison for each of the committees.
Oh,
as we go
sure.
through.
The council liaison for the Environmental Commission will be Daniel Chiarello.
I think, is that an appointment, or, it probably should be.
For the Environmental Commission,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
And again, just as the members, that does not require a vote, am I right?
That's my understanding.
Yeah, okay.
We didn't, we also need a liaison for the Cultural Affairs Subcommittee, and I would be happy to nominate, so I will make a motion to name myself to continue on as liaison to the Cultural Affairs Subcommittee.
Thank you. I will second that motion.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Sure.
For environmental, then, Christine Rogers and Linda Tower are full members?
Correct.
Both of them?
Correct.
Okay, so the new alternate members will be Rob Otto and Landon Tanieri?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we need to vote for the council
Yeah,
representative.
we need a roll call on, we've had a motion to appoint Daniel Chiarello as the council liaison of the Environmental Commission. That's been seconded, and so we just need a roll call vote.
Deputy Mayor Lumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella,
Yes,
Neil Satterwine, and Ted Ball. Did we make?
oh, I don't think we made a, well, no, but yes, we did, because those are mayoral appointments.
Yes. Okay, we're next moving,
We're going to do Cultural Affairs Liaison?
we
I
did
think we
that.
just did that.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just
that
did
was
that.
Environmental Commission.
Nope. No, Environment Commission is a mayoral
I think
appointment.
we said it as environmental.
I don't believe so.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the way it was framed, we just voted on, it said Environmental
Can we just
Commission.
clarify what,
Oh, I know.
The liaison for environmental is going to be Dan Chiarello and Councilman Chiarello, and for cultural affairs is Councilman Chiarello.
is that the intention?
That was my intention.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we just voted, I think we just said out loud, though, it was the liaison for the Environmental Commission. That was what the vote we just made was. So
I
I don't think we
understood-
needed to vote for that,
I
but
understood we were talking about the
cultural affairs.
Cultural
cultural
affairs.
affairs.
Yeah, I thought so, but I think the way it was stated was Environmental Commission. I could be wrong.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But only one was mayoral.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay, we're ready to move on to the Library Board, which is a mayoral appointment, and we will be reappointing Amy Del Coro to that. There is a mayoral role, which is, obviously will be filled by me. and that is not subject to a vote. Next up is the Municipal Alliance, and I would like to make a motion to reappoint all those who were serving as of 12/31/23. And I understand we do not have a vacancy anymore. And so we're simply, the motion is, I'm seeking a motion to reappoint all the existing members of the Municipal Alliance.
So moved?
May I have a second?
I'll second.
May we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
And I will, the motion carries. I will also make a motion to have Councilwoman Christine Quinn as the council liaison for the Municipal Alliance. May I have a second?
Second?
May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. We've now filled the positions of the Municipal Alliance, and I thank Councilwoman Quinn for all the hard work that she and the group do. That's a very important group that we have. So thank you.
Thank you. And just one update, just an administrative update, Mayor, is that Grant Rome is listed as the co-chair, but that's Chief McCarrick,
Okay,
just as an update,
okay,
okay? And he's been serving in that role all year, so it's just a reaffirmation, but just to make sure that the paperwork is correct.
okay. Thank you. And Roxanne, you got that Chief McCarrick should be listed and not Mr. Rome? Okay, next up is the Planning Board. And there are various classes to this. The first one is a mayor's designee. And this one, this isn't subject to a vote, even though I did designate it, is that right?
That's not subject to a vote. It
Oh,
will
it's
be-
not, okay.
You will either serve or you will designate someone to serve in
Okay.
your place.
I will not be serving on the planning board. My designee is Nick Pompilio. He has lived in Sparta his entire life. He is a lawyer, and I've worked with Nick, and I've come to appreciate his legal skills, his commitment to this town, and I think that our planning board will be very well served with Nick on it. So I'm happy to designate Nick, and I know he'll do a good job and work, hand in hand with the good folks that we have on the planning board. So with that, we move to, Class 3, which is, yeah, thank you. Which is the council position. And for that, I move to nominate Dean Blumetti.
I will second that.
May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
No.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilman Quinn,
No.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Motion carries. Dean Blumetti will be the Class 3 representative on the planning board. Okay, next up is Class 4. We do have a vacancy caused by a planning board member, Mr. Ski, who has resigned. And so may I have a motion to fill the, one of the Class 4 spots vacated by Mr. Ski?
Who are we motioning on?
What name?
Yeah.
I'll make,
I'm looking for a name.
I'll make a motion to
Yeah.
move Bill Enright up from an alternate to the open
I'll
full member
second
position.
that.
Okay, we have a first and a second for Mr. Bill Enright to serve as one of the Class 4 to take the vacated position by Mr. Ski. May we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries. Mr. Enright will now be a full member under Class 4. There's another position, Mr. Reichstag is up for a vacancy. I will make a motion to appoint Mark Scott. Mr. Scott is a current member of the zoning board. It's been the practice in years past to have a member of the zoning board on the planning board. There is overlap within those issues. Mr. Scott has come with the recommendation to serve as a Class 4 member on planning board from the chair of the zoning board, Mr. Lowry, who said that Mark would be helpful in that. And so with that, I will make a motion for Mark Scott to be the Class 4 member to take over the vacancy, the term that is ended by Mr. Reichstag. May I have a second? Do we have, so without a second, the motion would fail, am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion for another member to serve the Class 4?
I move that we reappoint Ragstad
I'll
to the
second.
position.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a first and a second for Mr. Reichstag to be the Class 4, to be reappointed. And so may I have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
No.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella,
Yes.
The motion carries. Mr. Reichstag will be reappointed. We now have an alternate position because Mr. Enright was serving as an alternate. And so now we have that spot available. And so I will make the motion that we appoint Ryan Caruso to alternate member of the planning board. Mr. Caruso is, in his day job, he handles, digital forensics. That a lot has carryover with litigation and evidentiary issues. You also may know Ryan because he has a construction business, and all the docks, a lot of the docks that you see in Lake Mohawk were constructed by him. He's been intimately involved in a lot of efforts in Lake Mohawk, including with the lake preservation and also with the historic preservation of the West Gate. So he's very attuned to both environmental issues and with his construction business, issues involving planning and building, which I think are really, transferable skills. So with that, I make a motion for Ryan Caruso to be part of the alternate member of the planning board under Class 4. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella,
Yes.
Motion carries. Congratulations, Ryan.
Actually, Mayor, before we move on, I believe that the designation of alternate 1 versus alternate 2 is a mayoral designation. It doesn't carry over with the appointments. That came up last year, I remember. So at this time, you may, or you can do it at a later time if you'd like to, designate which of the 2 alternate members are 1 and which one would be 2.
Just to clarify, we have an existing alternate one who there's been no decisions on, there's no change in his status. He has 1 more year left in his term as alternate 1.
Well, like, his term is alternate, but the designation of alternate 1 and 2 is a mayoral designation.
So it changes every year?
I believe so.
Yeah, that would be up to the mayor.
Okay. I'd like to share that. I would prefer and support keeping Justin Canellis as alternate 1. He's served for a year. He's done a wonderful job, and he's, very active, and I don't see any reason to change that. Not that there's much difference in the alternate 1 and 2, but the reason to shift it.
Okay, I mean, with that, Ryan, you'll be alternate 2. You got to earn your stripes. Maybe you'll move up to alternate 1 if you're good. So do a good job. Okay, now we are up to the Recreation Advisory Committee. And there are no, we need to reappoint Two people, Arlene Kane and Allison Deeney. So I would move that we reappoint them.
I'll second.
Okay, and we have a second, so the motion is to reappoint Arlene Kane and Allison Denny to the Recreation Advisory Committee. We just need a roll call. Yeah, we had a first, I did it, and then Councilwoman Quinn seconded it.
Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes,
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella.
Yes.
motion carries. And again, thank you, Councilwoman Quinn. I've had the benefit of being on this with her, and she shows up with a pack of notes and really helps get that committee going. We do need a council liaison. At the prior year, it was Councilwoman Quinn and I, so I would make a motion that both Councilwoman Quinn and I continue in that role.
I'll second that.
A roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up is the Senior Advisory Committee. We have 6 people whose term has expired. I would make a motion to reappoint all those on the Senior Advisory Committee whose term has expired to be reappointed for an additional term.
I'll second.
May we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella.
Yes.
Motion carries. We also have 2 council members who serve as the liaisons for that. That's Councilman Mr. Hertzberg and Councilwoman Quinn. And I would make a motion that we reappoint them as council representatives. May I have a second?
I'll second.
May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. And again, thank you for the work that you two do on behalf of our seniors. They're a huge part of this township, and they have a lot to contribute, and thank you for all you do for them. Next up is zoning board. We have 2 members whose terms have expired. They are 4-year terms, and upon the recommendation of the current zoning board president, Mr. Laurie, he has recommended to us that we reappoint Michael Leonardi as who is currently serving as vice chairman, and Michael Josevic, which I just butchered his name, I apologize, Michael. So the motion is to reappoint Mr. Leonardi and Mr. Josevic to the zoning board. May I have a second?
I will second that.
We have a second. May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarella.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. They will be reappointed. There is a vacancy there, but we are not going to fill that tonight. We will, deal with that at a later meeting. Next up is our Business Development Committee, which is a 1-year term. And we have quite a few vacancies, but why don't we first before we do the vacancy, I think we should do those who seek, reappointment. And so I will make a motion to reappoint the following people. They are Patrick McKernan, Lauren Volpe, Gregory Rosenfeld, Ryan Dumpert, Brad Carlson, William Curcio, and Bill Enright. And so the motion is for those people that I just listed to be reappointed.
I'll second that.
May I have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, now we have to deal with the vacancies.
Well, I'm going to make a motion that we reappoint Joseph Pasalacqua.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second, and so that we need a roll call vote.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
No.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
No.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Motion carries. Next up, we have a vacancy for these positions. I would like to make a motion that we nominate Dean Reinauer to the Business Development Committee. Ms. Reinauer is one of the executives at the Reinauer Transportation Group, which provides barges and tugs and all kinds of things for almost 100 years now. She was a Board of Trustee member at Lake Mohawk for over 15 years, and her company actually was featured in the documentary Boat Lift, which is about the evacuation of Manhattan during 9/11. And it was her company that did much of the work for that. And so I wholeheartedly nominate Dean Reinauer for the Business Development Committee. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, may we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
No.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. For the second vacancy, I nominate Nicole Francoeur. She was previously on the Business Development Committee as it was constituted a few years ago. She is a business owner in town who's also served on a Business Development Committee when she lived in Madison and spearheaded a lot of initiatives for that. And I think she would be a very valuable person to have on the Business Development Committee. So with that, I need a second for Nicole Francoeur. May I have a second?
I will second that.
May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
And for the third vacancy, I make a motion to nominate Justin Canellis. Mr. Canellis, you heard referred to earlier in the meeting. He is on the planning board. He is also a business owner, and I think he would be a spectacular addition to the Business Development Committee. So I need a second for Mr.
Second.
Canellis. We have a second. May we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
And our fourth vacancy, we have someone who applied for the position. His name is James Malero. You may know James. He owns Jim's Automotive. And way before I ever knew that he had been nominated, I had actually taken one of our vehicles to Mr. Malero. I did a great job, and the price was right. So, if you can find a good mechanic and that's worth its weight in gold. So, sorry for the plug, but there you go. So with that, I need a second for Mr. Malero.
Second.
Okay, may I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. We have, I think we have two council representatives to the Business Development Committee. And with that, I would move to nominate both Councilman Hertzberg and Councilman Daniel Chiarello as council representatives to the Business Development Committee.
I'll second.
May we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Motion carries, and thank you, Josh and Dan, for stepping up for that. It's a very important position that we have. They are really, some of the lifeblood of this town, So it's an important role, and thank you. All right. Moving right along, we are now up to government liaisons. And so the first one is the County of Sussex. And with that, I would make a motion that myself and Councilman Hertzberg be the Okay. That's fine. Strike that. Dan has agreed to do that, so I'm more than happy to turn that over to him. So the motion is for Councilman Chiarello and Councilman Hertzberg to be the council liaisons to the county commissioners. May I have a second?
I'll second.
May I have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next up is the Board of Education. Last year, that position was done by myself and Councilman Chiarello, and so I would make a motion that we be reappointed to that for this term. So the motion is for me and Councilman Chiarello to be the council liaisons to the Board of Education.
I'll second that.
May I have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next up is the Lake Mohawk Country Club. There are two council liaisons. Lake Mohawk is fortunate enough to have two members of council who are residents of Lake Mohawk. That would be myself and Councilwoman Quinn, and I would make a motion that she and I be reappointed to council liaisons to Lake Mohawk.
I'll second.
May I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next up is we need to reappoint members of the Revolution NJ 250. If those don't remember what that is, we will be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our country, and each respective state will have their own celebration, and then within the state, townships have their own celebration. We've had prior meetings, of which I was a council liaison. We have a lot of very qualified people on that, including archaeologists, history teachers, people who have been very involved and very with our nation's history and bringing that to life. So we hope to let people in Sparta know about those activities in the months to come. And so I would move to reappoint all the existing members of the NJ 250.
So moved.
All right, may I have a second?
Second.
All right, motion, may we have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Okay, we also have two council liaisons. I've been one. So I would move that we appoint myself and Councilman Chiarello as council liaisons to the Revolution NJ 250 Committee. May I have a second?
Second.
May I have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello,
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. Next up is the State Plan Endorsement Citizens Advisory Committee, which is appointed by the mayor with Township Council consent.
Actually, if I can interrupt for a
sure.
minute there. My understanding is that the Township Council consent is not required for the endorsement. It wasn't required last year. I don't feel there's been a change. I don't know if that's accurate.
I hadn't reviewed that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember last year that was done by the mayor without any council consent. It's possible we did it incorrectly.
That was my understanding too, is that no consent was needed. It was a mayoral.
Well, either it is or it isn't. So if it's a mayoral appointee, I mean,
Okay, well, then we're going to go with what we've done in the past, which was a mayoral appointment not subject to a council vote. And so in that case, I'm going to reappoint all the existing members of the State Plan Endorsement Committee who were members as of 12/31/23. My understanding is there will be a vacancy on that position, but we will deal with that at a later meeting where I will find someone to take that place.
I'll just make a note in the agenda, two existing members are excluded. But Mayor, the way you worded it was that all existing members are renewed, so I think that's okay. We have also Celeste Luciano and Caitlin Gagnon that are both existing members that just aren't listed on the sheet, but
Okay.
you renewed them when you made your statement.
Okay, yeah, because if they're already on there, they've been included, so they'll be included again.
And if we find out later that council consent is required, we'll just revote.
Okay. Okay, next up is the Technology Committee, and this committee hasn't met in quite some time. I think it's past its useful life on this. I think we have an IT director here that we can work with. We're lucky to have two people on our council who are very familiar with IT, including Councilwoman Quinn. And I think the better course is to have them work with our town manager to come up with any technological solutions that we may need or additional information or training rather than having a separate technology committee. So I would actually make a motion that we vacate the technology committee and we have no appointments to that.
Well, those are two different things, right? One is that we could decline appointing anybody to the committee, but the committee will still remain on a paper committee. When you say vacate the committee, are you saying abolish the committee? So my recommendation would be we'll keep the committee there in case future council or if we later on
Okay.
this year decide that that might be a good idea. But I agree that at this point, I would not recommend putting anybody in the committee because at this time, because I don't feel it's in some ways not appropriate at this time.
Okay, so I think that's probably the better course. If there comes a time that it becomes needed, we can revisit it. And so, but I think we do at least, do we need a motion to not appoint anyone? Or we just leave it alone?
Leave those
We'll just leave it alone.
positions vacant.
Okay,
And if I can add to that, it's not that technology isn't important. I apply my trade in that industry. It's that I think this encroaches on the administration piece of our township, and we're a policy board. So there might come a time when there might be some policy decisions on our technology, but that's why I would think that in the future we might leave this open. But for now, I'd sort of leave unto Caesar that which is Caesar's.
okay. And following up on that, we have the fire marshal appointment, but I understand that's an appointment by town manager, so I don't need to
That's
address
correct.
that. Okay,
This is where the town manager steps up.
okay.
My only time, right? I'll appoint our current fire marshal, Tom McIntyre, to be the fire marshal. And at this time, I don't have an assistant fire marshal to appoint. We do have a trainee, and that'll come at a later time.
Okay, do we need to vote on that appointment? Okay.
No action needs to be taken by the council.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zepp, I appreciate that. And thank you to our fire department. I know we had former Mayor David Smith, who was here, who's been a very active member of that, and, they are what,
EMT.
EMT, but I know, apologize, but I know he has been involved with them. But thank you to our fire department, because they're kind of what stands in the way of life and death and property damage, and they're all volunteers. Next up is the appointment of the Emergency Management Coordinator and Deputy Coordinator.
Mr. Zepp, you're up.
Great, I got it twice here.
Yeah.
I would then move to appoint Chief Jeffrey McCarrick for the Emergency Management Coordinator. And for the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator would be Tom McIntyre again.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you, Mr. McCarrick, and Mr. McIntyre for what you do. I appreciate that and keeping our town very safe and protected, and we can rely on y'all at our worst moments. So thank you. Next up is the Health Department liaison. At this time, I would like to make a motion to table this. I think we need to do a reassessment of the necessity of doing so, and I think it would behoove us for council to talk amongst each other about the nature and scope and necessity of this committee. And so I would hope that we would I make a motion to table the Health Committee at this time.
I'll second it.
And when we're tabling the nomination of liaisons to the
Yes.
committee, because technically the Health Committee is made up of the council at large. So these are just liaisons to the Health Department.
County Health Department.
County Health Department. Yeah. I'm sorry, wait. These are liaisons to the County Health Department. Okay, let's figure out what we're voting on.
There are representatives, because we're not all of us
Correct.
don't attend the calls, don't go to the meetings. So it's the two representatives that do that, because we are the health board.
Exactly. And I remember it was a couple of years ago where we, as a council at large, we had to meet on a health department issue because there was a septic system that we had to
Correct.
vote on. It was like
That's
3 or 4 years ago. But that's not what we're voting on. We're voting on liaisons for our health committee. Because the health
to be
department is
our
the
reps.
county.
These are the one, this is what you and I did last year.
Right, but what is it called? That's what I'm struggling
That's
with.
what they're called. It is, we were liaisons because the council as a whole is the health department, even though we outsource our services to the county.
So if the county health department, which is what we outsource our services to, need to liaise with the council, are we doing ourselves a disservice by leaving those vacancies? I think that's a different function than us meeting once a month to review the county report.
How those two liaisons act can be dictated by the council, but I think you should have those two liaisons.
But that's where I'm leaning toward, yeah. So I think what we're saying is we're bifurcating those two things. One is that, we had a monthly meeting of internal for health department issues. And that, I think, needs to be restructured. Separately, we outsource our health department services to the county. The county might need to liaise with the council at some point when there are issues that they need to speak with us about. And I think what Councilman Hertzberg is saying is that connection should still be there. We should have a liaison.
Okay. So with that, I need a motion for the two council liaisons to the county health department. And so
So I'm happy to stay on in that capacity, but maybe it's better if we take one of those spots and add the manager.
Does it have to be a
Just throwing
council
it
member?
out there.
Well, you're free to do what you want with it. I mean, certainly the manager is going to be directly involved on a day-to-day basis in interfacing with the county health department. But you certainly can have one member of council as a liaison and just will work closely with the township manager.
okay, so we only have one council member. We don't need
Unless
to.
somebody else
You
wants to step
can,
up.
yeah,
Not named.
it's up to the
Okay.
council.
Dan
You can
Chiarello.
have one, you can have two.
Does anyone of council want to join Councilwoman Quinn as liaison to the county health department?
I'll back you up, Chris.
Thank you.
So the motion is for Councilman Hertzberg and Councilwoman Quinn to be the council liaisons to the Sussex County Health Department. And so I have a motion, I just need a
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, we have a second, may I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes,
Thank you for stepping up.
thank you.
And we can reformulate and talk about it, but I think it is important that we have people there.
Okay, yeah, good point. Next up are the designation of advertising, media, print.
Mayor, if I may interrupt,
Yeah.
could I make a recommendation that we vote collectively together on 4A, 4B, 5, and 6? Unless somebody wants to carve them out?
No, I think that would streamline it. So if you're following along at home, this would be, and in the audience, the motion is to approve 4A and B, 5, and 6.
I'll second it.
May we have a roll call vote?
Should we add, should we put, add also the independent now that they have an online thing as well to the second? Or are they covered just under being the first? Is print, they're listed right now and broken out by print and electronic. But
Harold's in both.
the Herald's in both, but not the independent, but the independent now does have a second as well. I'm just asking, should it be consistent?
I think that's a good point. We should list the Sparta Independent under, so 4A is the as designation of advertising media and print, 4B is designation of advertising electronic media, 5 is a Township Council meeting date and time, and 6 is the designation of the legal depository. So we're talking about 4B, and to that we would add to the two that are listed there, Tap into Sparta and the New Jersey Herald, we would add to that the Sparta Independent because they have an electronic media platform as well.
Are there any implications of adding another entity to electronic? In other words, are we required then to issue meeting notices and 48-hour and meeting changes officially when things change during the year to them as well, if they're listed here? Or is, right now, it could be optional. If we include them, it'd have to be required. Is that true?
Yeah, no, as long as you advertise your electronic media on a designated vendor. So you do not have to use that vendor if you're utilizing another vendor from the list.
Okay, okay.
So I
I'm
will
not
make,
saying it's a bad idea. I'm just wondering if we were being required.
so I'll make a motion that we approve 4A, advertising print media, 4B, advertising electronic media, 5, designation of township council meetings, 6, designation of legal depositories, with the one addition of adding the Sparta Independent to 4B, designation of advertising media and electronic media.
I'll second.
May we have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Boumedi,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Mayor Clark, can I ask a question before we move
Sure.
on? We have not addressed the liaisons to the Historical Society.
Oh, that's right.
I understand that they're usually the same as Revolution NJ 250 perhaps, but we haven't addressed those.
Okay, so we need liaisons to the Historical Society. And so I would move to nominate myself and Councilman Chiarello as liaisons to the Historical Society. May I have
I will second that.
may I have a roll call vote?
Deputy Mayor Boumedi,
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Thank you for that. At this point, I have, we're getting ready to go into the resolutions, and you can see that in your agenda. There's a bunch of those. And before we do, though, we have open to the public for any discussion on the resolutions. Again, your public comment will be confined to the resolutions. Okay, seeing no member of the public wanting to speak on resolution.
Wait.
What?
No, I'm just getting paper. Keep
Okay,
going, don't pay any
okay,
attention to
Oh,
me.
okay.
But thank you, though, I'm good.
okay, thank you for catching that.
I'm just leaving.
Really? If you're going to continue that procedure.
Interesting. Okay.
Um,
I'm sorry. Do you have a comment on the resolutions? Okay. please.
Yes, I do. Margie Murphy, 9 Pueblo Parkway. I find it very difficult to have a person, Joe Pasalacqua, who his company was just indicted and he was a CEO of, and his partner was just jailed in our business development.
I'm sorry, is this a resolution question?
Isn't that part of one of the resolutions?
No,
No,
it's not, so, but, so, yeah, it's only focused on the resolution. This,
Okay.
what you were addressing is something that's not covered on the resolution,
Okay,
so.
And
my
that's it, yeah.
apologies.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So with the resolutions, I would like to carve out the following, Resolution W and Resolution CC. and then make a motion to approve all the other motions. So I guess, do I need to do the carve out first? Do we need a motion to carve those out, or can I just?
No, you can just carve them out.
Okay, sure. And so at this point, I would make a motion to approve the resolutions under Roman numeral 7, A through V as in Victor, and then X through BB as in boy, and resolution DD. So the motion is to approve resolutions A through V as in Victor, and X through BB as in boy, and resolution DD as
So
in
moved.
dog.
Second?
May I have a roll call?
Deputy Mayor Blumetti,
Yes?
Councilman Hertzberg,
Yes.
Mayor Clark,
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn,
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
So I would actually, for Resolution W, I would like to make a motion to table this, and there's some questions that I think members of the council have about what this entails. We haven't had an opportunity to get clarification on that through no fault of anyone here, but I think that the best course now is, if we can, council, to revisit that and at another meeting.
I'll second that.
Is there time sensitive, or is there, if we fail to do this tonight, if we table this, is there an impact to the residents that have existing applications in? Will this cause a problem?
This has occurred at a previous council meeting, and that TWA did come forward, and I was approved to sign it. I did sign it, and to my knowledge, at this time, there isn't any other pending projects. But I'm happy to elaborate on the whole TWA. Unfortunately, our engineer left. He's actually the biggest insight on this, but we could table it, and I'm happy to answer your questions afterwards.
Can we
Okay,
put this
so-
on the agenda for the
next
Tuesday meeting?
meeting.
Next meeting?
Yeah, and I think our next meeting is Tuesday, is that right? So we'll put this, Roxanne, we'll put this for the next meeting, in light of Mr. Zepp's input, that it does not impact any pending applications, and also that the person in the best position to answer some questions that is Mr. Stoner, and so we'll avail ourselves of Mr. Stoner as soon as we can. Thank you. Next up is to move to table Resolution CC. I think that the council needs to confer amongst themselves about the necessity of having a healthcare consultant in light of the expense and the possible necessity of that. So I would make a motion to table that, and then that we can address that at a subsequent meeting.
I'll second that.
And again, for the council to confer, this would be as under contract negotiations rather than, because if it's policy, then we confer in public, but,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, this would be respect to a contract, so contract negotiation.
Yep.
Well, we might want to separate out, if there's a question or a discussion around reviewing and evaluating the purpose and the function of having a service like this,
That would be a policy discussion.
that's policy, right? If it's regarding this specific contract.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yes.
So I would say the former, well, probably both need to be discussed.
Well, we'll table it for now,
Yeah.
and then we'll have one
Yeah,
discussion.
just so the public is aware, any discussion that we have about the necessity of having this in the first place will be a policy discussion.
And the
that
scope.
Yeah, and the scope will be done in public. The terms and conditions, if we do decide to have a contract, that may be subject to an executive session, because that falls under a contract negotiation.
So I would say if the will of this council is to table this for further discussion or conversation, that we are very mindful that this is something we've had in place for many years. And I would recommend that we continue this service as a holdover until such time as we reach a decision, because in my opinion, being without this service or this expertise could be extremely detrimental to our community. So I do not want to not hold it over and hold it off indefinitely and with no one there, because to my knowledge, no one else has any of that expertise. And we are, may I remind everyone, Sparta's Health Department. So I recommend that we do something to hold over the existing contract until such time as we have a chance to confer and figure out the path forward. But I think putting a vacuum there is dangerous.
I would recommend maybe we put a time limit on it, to your point, that this doesn't just sit out there indefinitely, that we say by the end of January, we're going to have a discussion and review it, determine if the scope is appropriate.
Well, that will be for you guys to dictate.
Who?
You two. You'll dictate the discussion and when it's had.
Yeah,
So,
so if we, I
I
think
don't
if we,
think we need to give it, I mean, so you're saying that if we don't get it in, that it just stops, is what you're wanting?
no, I'm saying we set a target out there to address Councilwoman Quinn's concern that, we table it now, but we say we're planning to address this soon and determine what needs to go forward. We're not just going to let it sit out there.
Right, I think
So if we table it right now, what are the terms, what are the deadlines of the contract?
it would be a holdover until a
The end
decision's
of the
made.
year?
Well, actually,
calendar year.
I think part of that is, will the current contract that we have with the consulting firm that's providing the service extend on a day-to-day or a month-to-month basis under the same terms that does the services end abruptly on December 31st?
Ordinarily, no, it would not. I don't have the
That's what I'm
contract in
worried
front of me, but I wouldn't expect it to continue indefinitely. Certainly the manager can reach out to the vendor.
The contract expired December 31st
Okay.
of '23.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think if there is a discussion about whether to enter that again, we can't, I think at this point, there's a desire by some members of the council to determine whether to extend that contract, and we just have not reached, there's information that we need in order to do that, and we're not available to do that right now. And so I would think that the best course is to, we can get this done by, like I said, the end of January to decide. But, rather than enter it now and then we have another entire year. Otherwise, we'd have to redefine the term of the contract.
I think
And
that
so-
this should be, then there needs to be an executive session before our next meeting or at our next meeting where we have this discussion, because if we are, in my opinion, we are exposing ourselves to a risk.
And I don't know if the risk is that high because we do have a health department, the county, we contract for their services, so it's not like we're not covered, we are covered. The consultant that we do employ does provide some services that, we would be without until we restructure this, but we're not completely left uncovered by this. Just want to bring that out there.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. This person is merely a consultant regarding the health matter. We have a health department, that's the county health department. So it's not like Sparta is without a health department. We are simply without a consultant who gives us advice about the health department. So just so we're clear, so I don't feel that there is any kind of imminent risk to the township by simply determining whether the necessity of having a consultant to a health department. We have a health department. Do we need a consultant to it?
So if we're going to try to aim to have a discussion about the contract, do we have enough time to have an executive session by Tuesday? Okay, I'll have to go out tomorrow, right, because Friday is the deadline, yeah.
We're meeting again in 2 weeks after that, though, right?
And we'll meet 2 weeks after that, right?
And 2 weeks after that, yeah.
And the other part, there's another dimension here, is that part of what the consultant does is administrative in nature, so there'll have to be some kind of administrative review of, what we need and, what we still may need. So, and that'll have to come together by our Tuesday meeting. So it might be moving too quick, but I think we can endeavor to have that executive session Tuesday.
Okay.
And then if it doesn't work out, then we'll have 2 weeks.
Mayor, what time did you want to start the executive?
Why don't we do 6 PM?
And actually, maybe after we take care of our vote on CC, I don't believe we actually held a vote on W. do table W. I thought we talked about it, but
Yeah, we need to have
It's like
a formal
the
roll
Pirates and
call.
Midzans.
I think we had a first and a second on tabling it. We need to have a roll call.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
I'm sorry, so we're voting on
Voting
tabling
on
W.
W.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes,
Then you have a motion to table with a first and a second on CC.
correct. So we need to vote on that.
Deputy Mayor Blumetti.
Yes.
Councilman Hertzberg.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Yes.
Councilwoman Quinn.
We're going to talk about this at our next meeting, right? Yes.
Councilman Chiarello.
Yes.
Okay, we will take that up at our executive session and then again in the public session. And with that, may I have a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Second?
I'll second.
We are adjourned. Thank you,
to
everyone,
vote.
for coming out.
We have to vote for, we have to
We have to
vote on
vote, we have to
adjournment.
actually have, okay, sorry.
It just
Everyone's
can be a
eager to get
voice
out of
vote.
here.
It doesn't have to be a roll. call.
I vote aye, and then we're.
All the,
Aye.
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 All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Not too best.